What is up, people? We are back, and we are going to be talking about the Heart of Thorns expansion for Guild Wars 2 that was just announced not too long ago. I have most of the basic information about it here, and I'm going to talk about it and kind of analyze what most of it means. Now, there's not too much information released yet, obviously. It's fairly new announcement, but things are going to be moving fast, as they've said. But basically, the biggest changes coming, there's not going to be a level cap change, which could go either way. I mean, I understand what they're going for. You know, a lot of people don't want to have to regrind for really good gear just because of a level change. Though I don't know if that means they had to negate level increase at all. I mean, I understand you don't want to have gathered all your legendary gear at level 80 and then have them increase the cap to level 85, and then you have to go get a shitload of new gear after spending all that time working on getting your legendaries. So I understand their philosophy, but just because they don't want to have that happen doesn't mean the leveling system increase would have been bad. They could have maybe found, you could have traded in your old gear for good quality gear at the higher levels, so you're still getting a good amount for the hours you put in, but it still makes it so you have a little more to strive for. So it's not a complete reset, but I will say that they are adding a mastery system in place of a level system. So this is a new system, and there's not much information about it, but basically it's supposed to provide a little more of a flexible approach to the character progression with more lasting results. There's a lot of areas that it's supposed to change, and obviously Guild Wars 2, people have very high expectations about what an expansion pack should bring. This is their first expansion, and they need to make it pack a wallop. You know, Guild Wars 2 has always kind of set itself apart, so they need to make sure they do that with this expansion. They already have the living world, so that's not something they can really focus on heavily. So the mastery, basically how it's supposed to work is you're going to get mastery points as soon as, you know, once you get your first character to level 80, you're going to have mastery points, and they're gained only by doing really hard stuff. Now that hard stuff is going to be spread not just in the new areas that are coming out, but also the old areas, so there's going to be reason to still be in the old areas. One of the big problems games have when they do expansions is that the old areas get completely wiped out. Basically, there's nobody there. I remember Shattrath City in World of Warcraft Burning Crusade was a very, very popular place to be, and then when Wrath of the Lich King came out, it pretty much became a ghost town. So they want to try to address that with all the levels in the game, all the different zones. And I don't know how that will relate to things people have already done. I don't know if they're going to hand out mastery points based on what's been done already, but we'll see. Like I said, there's still not a lot of information. The next big thing is that a new character class is coming out. It's called the Revenant, or it's a profession. It's called the Revenant. It's a heavy armor soldier type unit, but it uses the powers of the mists to kind of fuck things up, for lack of a better term. The design of it reminds me of a Shadow Knight or a Death Knight from, you know, previous MMOs, and something like that is really neat. I think it'd be a cool addition to the game. I don't really know what direction they're taking with it, but I hope it's something along those lines. I know that they already have the Necromancer, so it may not take a full-on Shadow Knight, Death Knight approach, but I think a darker profession with a heavy armor build is something that's really cool, and something that, if that's the way they're going to go, I think that would be a good idea. They've added the fully customizable guild halls. That's something they're going to be putting in the expansion, which is something that's been really requested by people. And they're also adding Stronghold, which is a new PvP mode that doesn't focus as much on killing the enemy players, but, you know, things like gathering supplies, hiring troops, trying to get them to the Stronghold, things like that. They're going to try to start doing things in that aspect. So other than that, those are the big things they've talked about. There's obviously going to be the giant new zone, but other than that, there hasn't been too much revealed. They said, you know, there might be minor things, but those things are their focus, and that's what they're going to work on. And so in summation, you know, there's things, I mean, it's so early. I have a lot of hope for this expansion, but it's still too early to tell what direction they're going to take it in other than what they've said. Obviously, as their first expansion, they have to make it bam, because that's going to set the expectation for every expansion to follow if they continue expanding in this manner. So they need to make sure that they make this expansion count. and they haven't set a price, they haven't decided on any of that yet, but it is going to come as a boxed expansion, so it will have a price, but considering it's not a monthly subscription game anyway, I wouldn't be complaining that much. But anyway, to sum up, I think it'll work out, because it seems from what I've read and heard them talk, they're taking the same approach they took when they released Guild Wars 2 itself, and that was, you know, we see what all the other MMOs do, and we see the things they do wrong. Let's take what they do wrong and fix it. You know, the ability to go help your lower level friends out and get your level cap lowered down to the zone level, so that you can fight with them and still get experience. The ability to not have to be in a party to share loot and experience and points for a quest or killing a mob was a big thing. The travel system, having a travel system that didn't take very long to get from one place to another, but you could still walk if you needed to, that was a big thing. The economy not being totally imbalanced was a big thing. There's a lot of things that Guild Wars 2 took that was wrong from other MMOs, and they fixed them, and that was what made Guild Wars 2 as popular as it is, on top of the fact that it's free to play after you buy it. And so, since that method worked for them in the past, I think that taking that same, mentality and applying it to this expansion is not a bad idea. If they look at what they've done and they look at the things that are wrong with their system, and they fix them, and basically focus on those fixes, I think this expansion will do really well if they do that, A new class was something we've always been asking for. Some other way to level up our characters that doesn't, obviously people don't want the level cap system to go up because they don't want to lose all their gear, but they still want to feel like they're progressing and that they're, all these hours they're grinding into the game isn't going to be going to waste. And, they've always asked for guild halls. They've wanted a new PvP mode for a while now. Obviously, with the new expansion comes a giant new zone. So, they got a lot to expand upon. And all in all, I have a lot of faith for this expansion. I think you guys should too. I definitely think it's going to be worth picking up when it does come out, but I would keep an eye on it, see what they're going to be changing. And as I see things, any major updates, I will be sure to post them on my channel. But that's going to be it for this video. Please like and subscribe for more content, and comment with your thoughts. What are your thoughts on this expansion? What things do you think they should do that they haven't done yet? What things do you think they should address? And all in all, what are your expectations for this expansion? Like I said, this is their first big expansion, so they need to make it count, because it's going to set the trend for the next few expansions, I'm sure. So let me know what you guys think they should do to really wow everyone at that expansion release, and I'll see you guys next time.